It's just kind of who I am. I want to pour into my team as much as possible, and I'm pretty in tune with my body. I can read a room pretty well, and so when I see we're lacking a little bit, you got to step up. But if we're good, you're just there to encourage and give people confidence.
Everyone thought they understood Sophie Cunningham's motivation for joining the Indiana Fever. Protect Caitlin Clark. Take on the role of enforcer. Keep the novice safe. Cunningham's latest remarks, however, run counter to our earlier assumptions regarding their cooperation. This agreement wasn't struck at random. This took 6 years to make. Moreover, nobody could have foreseen the intensity of Cunningham's desire to defend Clark. A move by the Fever in May of 2026 rocked the league. Sophie Cunningham was traded to them from the Phoenix Mercury. In addition, the message was quite clear. Clark needed a bodyguard because Cunningham was about to become the most talked-about enforcer in women's basketball. On paper, the move made perfect sense. For Clark, the first season had been awful. She was knocked to the ground by Kennedy Carter's shoulder check. Brianna Stewart was crushed by the blind screen during a crucial possession. Ari McDonald's dangerous closeout on a three-pointer left Clark sprawled out on the court. Diamond DeShields ran her over during a brief gap as though she had never been there. As the hits persisted, the officials continued to ignore them. With 46 fouls in just her first month, Clark had the third highest total in the league. Coach Stephanie White would submit video records to the WNBA offices every week, begging them to do something. Nothing was changed. The league wanted someone who wouldn't just complain about the treatment. There was a need for someone who would act. Sophie Cunningham enters. But nobody knew this at the time. This was not only a strategic acquisition. Cunningham had been getting ready for this moment for over a year. She didn't just accept the part, she fought for it. And when you think about her past, you can understand why the Fever wanted her so much. Even though her parents, who were also her teachers, gave her the black Taekwondo belt as a joke, she wore it with pride when she was 6 years old. The high school football kicker went 2 for 4 on field goals after the team starter tore his ACL. Her kindergarten parents were upset about her excessive harshness and hostility on the soccer pitch. She was not a basketball player. She was meant to be a fighter. Over her 6 years in Phoenix, she rose from a second-round draft selection to a reliable starter with double-digit averages. She knew what it took to succeed in this league. Now, she was applying everything of her knowledge to protect the most watched player in WNBA history. But Cunningham's journey to that point reveals everything about her mentality. She went on to become Missouri's all-time leading scorer. 129 career begins with an average of 17 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. She led the Tigers to 4 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. During her final year, she averaged 17 points, 200 rebounds, 83 points, and 150 free throws, making her the only player in the nation to do so. 3 times, she was selected for the All-SEC squad. AP All-America honorable mention twice. The hero from home dominated the convention. She had to deal with the stereotype that she was violent, petty, and dirty despite her achievements. Fans in South Carolina made fun of her. Others questioned her fire. She didn't change. She was able to enter the WNBA by staying true to herself. After being chosen 13th overall in 2019 as Phoenix's first pick in the second round, Cunningham had to battle for every minute of playing time. She was not cast as the main character. Over the years, she's shown that she deserved it. In her first season, she came dangerously close to failing. Due to experienced injuries, Cunningham was abruptly placed in a position for which she wasn't sure she was ready when the Mercury selected 3 rookies that year. Coach Sandy Brondello praised her for giving every possession her all, racing the channels, blocking out, and moving her feet on defense. But Cunningham's shots didn't begin to fall until she went off one night to battle the Fever. She couldn't have missed it. The coach claimed that she was playing so hard that she was eager to request a replacement. Cunningham is exactly that. She doesn't know how to coast. She had a breakthrough year in 2022, starting 20 of 28 games and averaging 12.6 points and 4 rebounds. She set a career best against Minnesota with 36 points, 7 three-pointers, and 5 steals. Natasha Cloud praised Cunningham following a pivotal performance, saying, "What Sophie does won't always show up on the box score. She comes down and plays hard every possession on both ends of the floor." It's not a star, but it's vital to winning basketball. Cunningham's hard work, timely threes, positive energy, and hustle made her indispensable to Phoenix. Despite not making the highlights, she evolved into the sixth starter, the X-Factor, the player who went above and beyond to win games. She has an unmatched clutch gene. After scoring 12 points in the third quarter alone to begin a comeback against the New York Liberty, Cunningham concluded the 2021 playoffs with a career-high 21 points on 6 three-pointers. She made a dagger three with just over a minute left to give Phoenix an 83-82 victory. In 2026, despite Kalia Copper scored 38 points, Cunningham made the pivotal threes in the final minutes to upset Atlanta 88-85. Coach Nate Tibbetts selected her as the sixth starter. Someone so vital that she could switch games for long stretches of time without coming into contact with the ball. When her number was called, she always delivered. Go back in time to May 31, 2026. Portland Fire vs. Indiana Fever. It was the game that made Cunningham famous right away. Something inside Cunningham shattered when JCS Sheldon jabbed Clark in the eye during a furious altercation. Next, Cunningham went into full enforcer mode, jawing at the Suns' bench, going between players, getting in their faces, and making it very clear that anyone who harmed her star would pay consequences. This was the most viral moment of the WNBA season. The internet went crazy, the seats were empty, and tensions broke out. Her TikTok following grew from 300,000 to 1 million in a matter of days. Her tees sold out across the country in a matter of hours. Sports networks frequently aired the video. People were no longer just watching Clark. They were watching her protect her. The enforcer role was becoming standard practice. Everyone was eager to talk about Cunningham's tale. But protecting Clark on the court was just the beginning. The league couldn't agree on Cunningham's next move. She went after the commissioner by herself. Kathy Engelbert, the face of the WNBA, is accused of telling players during meetings that Caitlin Clark ought to be grateful for the platform the league gave her. As if Clark owed the WNBA something for allowing her to play. Cunningham would not allow it. On Instagram, she called Engelbert the most gullible leader in professional sports. She didn't think twice. She went on, "People only know Kathy because of C." The jabs were deliberate, blunt, and intimate. Cunningham backed up her statements with indisputable statistics. Clark took part in 21 of the 24 games that attracted over 1 million viewers during her first season. The WNBA's $2 billion media deal, which provided the league with unprecedented exposure, was largely influenced by the Clark effect. Ticket sales skyrocketed. Goods were flying off the shelves. The commissioner was acting as if Clark owed them something. Cunningham made sure everyone understood how archaic that sounded. She didn't care about the consequences. She spoke what needed to be said. Think about Clark's actual contributions to the league. She broke Pete Maravich's all-time Division I scoring record in both men's and women's NCAA tournament history with 3,951 points. She achieved the first-ever 40-point triple-double. The first player to lose consecutive 40-point games in the women's division. The first Division I player to score 3,000 points, dish out 1,000 assists, and pull down 800 rebounds. She led Iowa to 2 straight national title games. The 2024 championship game was the most watched women's collegiate basketball game ever, with 18.9 million viewers. Her jersey became the best-selling college athlete apparel item on Fanatics, surpassing Shedeur Sanders. She was the first college athlete to represent State Farm as an ambassador. At $3.4 million, she earned the highest nil valuation of any female collegiate basketball player. The Iowa women's basketball team sold out their entire ticket schedule and earned $3.26 million, the most ever. She was not merely a basketball player. She changed the game forever. She went on to dominate the WNBA after that. The rookie who broke the rookie scoring record, won Rookie of the Year, set single-game and single-season assist marks, and was chosen for the All-WNBA first team, was the first rookie to record a triple-double. However, the league feigned gratitude. Cunningham could see straight through it. As a result, she and the commissioner went to fight. Because of this, she spoke up when no one else would. Criticizing officiating was Cunningham's signature move. In interviews and on social media, Clark was the most outspoken critic of the referees during her rookie season. She frequently publicly chastised officials for not protecting Clark from excessively combative play. The controversial no-calls kept increasing week after week. Hard fouls were not penalized. Even when it threatened her own career, Cunningham persisted in speaking up, and risky productions were written off as commonplace. She accumulated technical fouls after arguing with the referees. She didn't care. As former NBA enforcer Joakim Noah had predicted months earlier, the Fever desperately needed someone similar to Cunningham. Instead of just playing with Clark, someone who would deliberately shield her from the chaos that surrounded her at every game. Cunningham fully embraced that stance. Be damned about the repercussions. She assumed the voice that Clark couldn't. Regarding what the veteran could say, the newbie had to bite her tongue. However, their relationship involved more than just conflicts and disagreements. At the most unexpected moments, Clark and Cunningham developed a genuine connection. For example, when Cunningham spelt for as fur while playing golf, Clark made fun of her on Instagram. Cunningham responded with a grin and described herself as just two friends making jokes. No defensive attitude, no ego. They joked and cursed together during the Wnba Pro-Am tournament, acting as though they had been friends for years instead of just a few months. Outside of the basketball floor, they were captured on camera having a good time together. The enforcer persona and the camaraderie were real. They weren't just teammates posing for pictures. They truly liked each other. They were together for a while. They texted one another. They created something authentic. As a result, the protection became much more authentic. Cunningham wasn't defending Clark because management had told her to. She was defending her friend. Cunningham wasn't just supporting Clark. He wasn't scared to challenge authority. She publicly questioned the WNBA's choice of expansion sites, citing Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia as questionable options. In a powerful response, Cleveland's social media team posted a video of Clark praising their hometown, effectively calling Cunningham a hypocrite. But Cunningham would not concede. She had already shown that she wasn't afraid to go after the commissioner. Why would a social media team frighten her? Her bravery, which became a key component of her brand, won her admirers over. She voiced the opinions of other players who were reluctant to speak up. She became the athlete who didn't care about the approval of the league office. It was crucial to her to be honest. And people in a league that often felt overly political and controlled were moved by that sincerity. The plot takes a very unexpected turn at this point, and fans who wanted unbiased viewpoints on what was truly happening in the WNBA had to listen to her podcast, Show Me Something. Before Caitlin Clark had worn a Fever shirt and the move was even a rumor in league circles, Cunningham was already a tremendous fan of her. In 2026, Cunningham said on camera that she hoped to play with Clark in the future while still wearing a Phoenix Mercury uniform. For real, she emphasized during an interview. I'm a huge fan, and I never say that about anyone. After the successful purchase, her agent told her to give up this ill-thought-out publicity ploy. A seasoned athlete who was watching a collegiate star dominate the game expressed genuine gratitude in this way. Cunningham watched Clark play at Iowa. She checked her handles, court vision, and range. Something unusual caught her attention. Cunningham wanted the enforcer position that everyone talks about before anyone knew it existed. She pursued it. She made it come to life. In actuality, Cunningham had been rooting for the transaction, which seemed to be Indiana's front office's pure basketball approach. She did more than just act as a bodyguard. She made a direct request. Think about that for a second. A 6-year Phoenix veteran recently consented to a contract extension through 2026 because she loved the organization and Matt Ishbia's vision for it. Someone who thought upon Phoenix as a second home. Still, she jumped at the chance to play with Clark. That is not the norm. Players typically don't force themselves to leave teams they love in order to protect a youngster. However, this was unrelated to the work, but Cunningham was. The player was involved. She believed in Caitlin Clark before the world caught up, the $2 billion agreement, the sold-out arenas, and everything else. Cunningham saw the celebrity coming, so he wanted to be involved. That's the real story that nobody is talking about. Cunningham was Diana Taurasi's backup for most of her Phoenix tenure. She learned how to do it from one of the greatest individuals in history. DT taught her how to stay ready, how to endure highs and lows, and how to deal with the mental games that come with fighting for long stretches of time. Cunningham ultimately found herself in the starting lineup 2 or 3 years into her career, and she never took it for granted. She knew what it was like to wait and wonder if your number would ever be called. She maximized her shot as well. Thus, she could identify with Clark's predicament. The tension, the scrutiny, the physical play. Cunningham had dealt with storylines throughout her career. They are calling her nasty, violent, and petty. She was still herself, though. When she saw Clark being treated similarly, she likewise knew exactly what to do. Stand up. Take revenge. Protect yourself at all costs. Her time in Phoenix contains all the information you need to know about her journey. After 6 seasons in the Valley, she was the team's longest-tenured player, with the exception of Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi. She had seen the Mercury at its best and worst. Drama, ownership changes, coaching changes, and roster changes have all happened to her. The whole time, she stayed ready. She carried on with her task. She became the player that every rival wanted. The guard's versatility allowed him to play multiple roles. The sharpshooter who delivered timely shots. The hustler performed all the filthy work. A set of abilities that any successful team would want. When the Fever offered her the opportunity to play with someone she genuinely liked, she accepted without hesitation. Everyone is on edge because of this twist. Both Cunningham and Clark suffered injuries that interrupted their seasons in 2025. The seemingly unbreakable bond ran into a difficult roadblock. During a game against Connecticut, Bria Hartley fell and slid onto Cunningham's leg, tearing her right knee's MCL. She announced on her podcast that her first season with Clark was ending early, which devastated her. This opportunity, which she had been waiting for years, vanished in an instant. Clark also sustained an injury later in the season. 2 athletes who were supposed to change the WNBA together were sidelined and watching from the sidelines. The what-ifs started to pile up right away. If they had stayed healthy, what would have happened? To what extent did they succeed? In the postseason, how much damage could they have done? But the real unknowns are not healing or wellness timelines. It is related to the future. Cunningham is free to sign with any team. There is no guarantee that she will return to Indiana. In her own words, to ensure you don't miss anything, please leave a remark, subscribe, and turn on all alerts. Once you click the video on the screen, we'll see you in the next one.